The world knows the story of a painter who cut off his own ear. It's a shocking, singular fact that has come to define Vincent van Gogh in the popular imagination of the ultimate mad artist. But what if that moment of crisis was not a sudden descent into madness, but the breaking point of a man pushed to his absolute limit? What if the story we've been told is a dramatic oversimplification, obscuring the real man and his profound struggle? Before the swirling stars and the sun-drenched wheat field, there was just Vincent, a preacher's son, a failed art dealer, a would-be missionary, desperately searching for his purpose. He found it in art, but his ambition was met with relentless rejection and poverty. He poured his immense longing for connection, his awe of the natural world, and his deep-seated loneliness onto every canvas, creating a body of work that would later captivate the world, yet which in his own time sold virtually nothing. This was not a man born with a tortured artist label. This was a human being of immense sensitivity, buckling under the weight of isolation and failure. We have been content to label him a genius and a madman, letting the myth of his insanity explain everything. But this narrative does a grave disservice to the complex, thinking, feeling man he was. What forces, both within and around him, truly led to that infamous night? It's time to move beyond the legend and into the nuanced, heartbreaking, and deeply human reality of his life. Join me on a journey to meet the man behind the myth. Let's look past the severed ear and into the soul of the artist to finally understand the haunting story of Vincent van Gogh. Vincent's mind was a labyrinth of torment that doctors are still trying to map. The simplistic label of madness obscures a complex medical mystery that has spawned countless theories. Was it a form of epilepsy, the electrical storms in his mind manifesting as hallucination and debilitating attacks? Was it bipolar disorder, explaining the frenzied, superhuman bursts of creativity in Arles, followed by soul-crushing depression that left him paralyzed and despairing? Or was it a toxic combination of conditions exacerbated by chronic malnutrition, absinthe, and the bitter poison of isolation? The diagnoses are guesses on a chart. For Vincent, they were the terrifying and unpredictable weather systems of his own consciousness, leaving him a passenger in a body he could not always control. Within the turmoil, painting was both his anchor and the chain that bound him to his suffering. In his clearer moment, art was a vital lifeline, which was a form of therapy where he could transmute the chaos in his head into something tangible and beautiful, imposing order on the world through each deliberate brushstroke of a cypress tree or a starry night. Yet the very intensity with which he pursued his work, which was obsessively, frantically, and under the blistering sun without food or rest, could also act as a catalyst, burning through his fragile nervous system and hurling him back into the abyss. Nowhere was this volatile dance more pronounced than during his self-imposed exile in Arles. Dreaming on an artistic utopia, he instead found himself alone, and in that searing solitude, he expressed an explosive creative burst unlike any other in history, producing over 200 works in just over a year. He painted the blazing sunflowers as a hope-filled welcome, the vibrant orchards as a prayer for spring, and the iconic yellow house as a dream of community. But as his template grew brighter, his inner world grew darker. The same sun that gilded his canvases seemed to scorch his mind, and the loneliness became a physical ache. It was here, in the pressure cooker of his own genius and despair, that the line between sublime creation and personal destruction blurred completely, culminating in the crisis that would forever define him. There exists a profound and heartbreaking paradox at the heart of Vincent van Gogh's legacy. How could a mind so besieged by inner turmoil give birth to a vision as serenely majestic as the Starry Night, painted from the confines of his asylum room at St. Paul de Mazou? The world outside his window was one of imprisonment and despair. Yet what he transferred to the canvas was not a prison, but a universe in magnificent, swirling motion. The cypress tree, a traditional symbol of death and mourning, closed its way heavenward, not as a grim reminder, but as a vibrant living conduit between the earthly and the cosmic. The stars and planets don't just twinkle, they explode in radiant whirlpool of light, and the village below sleeps in a peaceful blue oblivion, utterly unaware of the celestial storm above. This is the ultimate contradiction. A man trapped within the walls of his own crumbling sanity, painting a scene of boundless, dynamic freedom. It forces us to ask, was his vision not in spite of his suffering, but because of it? Did his agony act as a peculiar filter, stripping away the conventional perception of a calm night sky to reveal the violent, life-giving, and beautiful energy thrumming beneath the surface of reality? He didn't paint what he saw with his eyes, he painted what he felt in his soul, the churning, the longing, the overwhelming power of existence itself. In masterpieces like the raw confessional intensity of his self-portraits, where each frantic brushstroke seems to map a nerve ending, or the blazing urgency of Whitfield with Cruz, where the path leads nowhere and the sky turns to midnight, we see this technique not as a mere style, but as a direct transcript of his emotional state. His personal agony became the very lens through which he perceived and expressed the world, suggesting that his unparalleled artistic expression was forged in the furnace of his pain. It was a brutal, costly alchemy, transforming the lead of his despair into the gold of cosmic beauty, leaving us to wonder if the price of such transcendent vision was for Vincent a peace he could never truly hold. Imagine creating hundreds of vibrant, soul-wrenching masterpieces only to have the world meet them with a dismissive silence. For Vincent van Gogh, genius was not a celebrated gift, but a private, agonizing obsession. In his lifetime, he was a ghost in the art world. It's believed he sold only one or two paintings. His wall stacked high with the swirling sunflowers and starry nights that dealers and contemporaries found messy, crude, and unsellable. The only recognition he received was often pitying and patronizing. This wasn't a simple lack of fame, it was a profound, deafening absence of a connection he so desperately craved, a daily confirmation of his own perceived failure. This very tragedy, however, became the bedrock of the legend that would later eclipse the man. In the years following his death, his story was polished into a perfect, romanticized narrative, which was the tortured, mad artist suffering for his art unappreciated in his time. It's a compelling, almost mythical arc that neatly packages his pain as a necessary sacrifice for his posthumous glory. But this simplification risks turning his very real human struggle, which was his poverty, his loneliness, his medical crisis, into a mere plot point in a fairy tale, obscuring the diligent craftsman and the thoughtful writer who existed alongside the figure of torment. Today, our interpretation has evolved beyond the romantic myth. We now see in his work not the chaotic scribbles of a madman, but a profound and fearless emotional language. His thick, rushing brushstrokes seem to pulse with life. His bold, unnatural colors don't distort reality, but rather express its deeper emotional truth. We look at a painting like the Starry Night and no longer see just a beautiful sky, but a visual symphony of anxiety, wonder, and cosmic loneliness. In a modern world often fraught with its own isolation and mental health struggles, Vincent's art and letters offer a raw, uncensored portrait of a man trying to find beauty and meaning in the depths of despair. His enduring appeal lies in this breathtaking honesty. We don't just admire his technique, we feel his hope, his fragility, and his unwavering commitment to his vision. He has become not a saint of suffering, but a companion to the misunderstood, a testament that the most profound beauty can sometimes only be born from the deepest wounds, and a haunting reminder that the world is filled with invisible brilliance if only we have the eyes to see it. It is time to gently lay aside the well-worn trope of the mad artist, a label that has done more to obscure Vincent van Gogh than to illuminate him. To truly meet Vincent, we must see the whole man, not just the suffering, but the profound strength it took to pick up a brush day after day. This is not a story of madness, but a story of a human spirit's ferocious resilience. In the face of shattering loneliness, professional failure, and a mind that often felt like his greatest adversary, he made a conscious, relentless choice to find and create beauty. His painting was not a passive symptom to his illness, but an active rebellion against it, a defiant act of meaning-making in a world that offered him very little. Each vibrant sunflower was a testament to hope. Each swirling starlit sky was a map of a cosmos alive with feeling, a proof that he could still feel awe amidst the anguish. This is the core of his timeless appeal, a resonance that feels as urgent in our own era of anxiety, disconnection, and curated perfection. Vincent's work and life speaks to us with a startling clarity. He embodies the unvanishing truth of the human condition, the struggle to be seen, to connect, and to matter. We look at his canvases and we do not see a distant mythical figure. We see our own vulnerabilities, our own longing, and our own capacity for wonder reflected back at us. His art reassures us that pain and beauty are not opposites, but can be intertwined, and that creating something true is a victory in itself. Vincent's enduring gift is this profound sense of solidarity. It teaches us that resilience isn't about avoiding the darkness, but about learning to paint with whatever light we can find. And in doing so, he continues to write his own story, from one of tragic isolation to one of eternal human connection. Thank you for watching. Until the next one.